and welcome to My Security TV and our Tech and Sec Weekly. My name's Chris Cubbage. I'm the executive editor with My Security Media, and today we're looking at the coalition to close the cybersecurity talent gap. We're going to be joined there in California. I think they're there for the RSA conference this week. Jesper Trolle, the CEO, and Denny Ferrand Achenbaum, the executive board member and senior vice president, both with Exclusive Networks. And we're obviously going to be discussing a new coalition to close the cybersecurity talent gap. Denny and Jesper, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Chris. Appreciate it.
Great. Now, this is a campaign to raise $1 million to help fund a 1 year of community college courses for the Bay Area. And it's about a coalition between NightDragon and Next Gen Cyber Talent, and a whole bunch of other sort of industry companies are getting involved. And Exclusive Networks is there, obviously, as part of this coalition. Denny, maybe we'll start with you, as a board member with Exclusive Networks, and how the coalition is formed and how Exclusive Networks has become involved.
Thanks, Chris, and indeed, thanks for having us. In fact, we have been creating an alliance with NightDragon Security for about a year now. We knew very well Dave DeWalt coming from his top executive levels from FireEye, McAfee, Data Domain. So very iconic into this market. And we thought his way to approach cybersecurity overall was very compelling and very much resonating with an aspiration we had in this part of the globe, such as EMEA was concerned. But on the specificity of the coalition that you're referring on, in fact, the project is global. It's not just the Bay Area. It was born in the Bay Area because everything in cybersecurity most likely is getting born from there. But the reality is the talent shortage is everywhere. You mentioned some figures in the different newspaper that we can think of. I think the official number that NightDragon is putting on the table is 2.7 million of cybersecurity headcounts are missing into the market in 2021. So it's an enormous problem, which we believed as a cybersecurity expert with regards to the domain of excellence of Exclusive Network was a threat in the market, because we need also some of those talents to drive the show. So the reality with regards to the shortage, it's not just about the talent, but it's also about education overall. The cybersecurity impact today is massive. I think the estimated cost of cyber crimes in the world are about 10 trillion by 2025. So it's just phenomenal. And where there is a massive interest for us to understand what's going to be next is 95% of the cybersecurity incident involve human error.
Yeah.
So if we treat the problem above the cycle, doesn't mean we will solve the whole planet, but it solves certainly the way this cybersecurity is getting consumed. So that's part of the value proposition Exclusive Network is willing to have in the market.
And look, even the observations we have here in Australia, we've spoken to ISACA and their sort of industry reports that are coming out from the associations around this. The skills shortage is obviously being felt globally. Jesper, you're based in Paris. Exclusive Networks is a global business, though. What do you see the main sort of drivers? Is this just something that the industry now itself is like having to take action here, and your observations there in Europe as well?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I think, Denis gave sort of two of the key points here, which is one is it's the first time where the industry really comes together as one to try and help solve for the skills shortage. With millions of open roles across the world, there's just not enough talent to fill all these vacancies. And then secondly, you can as a company have very strong cyber defense and base it on some of the best products and solutions out there. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the talent and the people with the right skill sets to manage it doesn't really help anymore. And as Denis said, with 95% of all the breaches coming through the human layer, it just shows that cybersecurity awareness, which this initiative is also about, it's not only about developing new CISOs and new technical consultants, it's also about bringing up the level of cybersecurity awareness. And we certainly see this in our business. Like most other in our industry, we have a lot of vacancies that we are trying to fill. We are lucky we can fill them, but it takes longer than what we have been used to, most certainly. And so these initiatives are, one, just to do good as an organization inside of the society where we are, which is to bring the level of cybersecurity awareness up. And then secondly, it's obviously an opportunity to go as someone like Exclusive Networks that are so specialized within cybersecurity and help some of these students as they come off the more theoretical part of their studies to go in and have a practical education inside of Exclusive Networks, so the rest of our partner ecosystem.
Yeah, how do you see it working on the ground, Jesper, for the company? I've got about 100 questions as well. It's like the other one is, is there any particular roles? You mentioned sort of developing CISOs, but also the technical skills. We talk about the soft skills as well. I'm not even training the technical people. They still need to get sort of across the soft skills. Do you see any sort of core areas that are the shortage? Is it the technical side that you feel is struggling and we need to uplift that? Or is it across the board? And so therefore it's hard to measure.
Yeah, I would say it's in two areas. It's certainly on the more skill set side, it's on the technical side. There is massive demand for technical skills. Could be CISOs, could also be analysts that look at CM solutions and dashboards and trying to sort of see what's going on inside of corporate networks. And then on the other side, it's a more general sort of broad-based issue around security awareness. That doesn't mean you need to work in cybersecurity. That's just understanding that you shouldn't click on the link of your tax return when you're outside of tax season, and other ways that phishing is trying to get to your credentials. So it's predominantly in the technical side where we are seeing challenges.
And Denny, I suppose that's a challenge for the technical side, because even Jesper mentioned the theoretical side as well. So, people are doing studies in cybersecurity. They need to be across the theory and the principles of cybersecurity, but then also get across into the technical side. Is this something you're offering internships or specific courses, and you're working with your own vendor community to often give the colleges and the universities those technical sort of tool sets that they're going to need to say, and we've seen this here in Australia, just for your, if you're not aware, but some universities now have built their own SOCs with, certain vendor proprietary software in there, and the students are learning that. So when they come out to the industry, they're familiar with some of those platforms. Is that really how you feel that this will be working?
So just on the top 5 job roles which are really lacking, this is exactly spot on to the Jesper's comment. It's about data analyst, data scientist, artificial intelligence, machine learning. This is the engine. This is the power of the cybersecurity, as we know well. Big data, of course. A tiny bit more soft on the digital marketing for strategy specialists. And last but not least, process automation. We want to remove this human factor. As much automation we will have, as less human engagement will be into the cycle. So that's the definition. It's not just mine assessment of the day. It's really about a deep dive that we have done together with Jesper on where do we want to focus with regards to awareness and education. Now back to your question about the relationship we have with the academy overall. So we have 3 initiatives overall. One in the US with Cal Poly, California Polytechnic, where we definitely have a very strong alliance, which is also aligned together with some of the vendors that we do carry in this part of the world. We have also an initiative in Belgium, as well as 2 French cybersecurity schools. It's brand new. It's no longer universities which have a segment into the a full scope of a master of science or whatsoever, where there is a bit of cybersecurity. No, now it's a specialty. And we have a partnership with two French cybersecurity. Remember that we are a French headquarter company, even if we are a global company. The headquarter, and that's where Jasper is sitting, is in Paris. So we have two cybersecurity schools where we will announce before the end of this month, because obviously the promotion will get started in September. The cycles with regards to, the graduation, it gets started in reality in September, where we will have internship getting into exclusive networks net with regards to how obviously they could alternate in between school and exclusive networks, because we want to get those talents for tomorrow, not just for us, but also potentially for the partners, potentially for the vendors who would be seeing us as a kind of a talent hub for cybersecurity. Yeah. That's one of the we want to put into perspective. And it's pretty interesting, the comment you made about SOC with the Australian school. By the way, we are really strongly believing that the SOC as a service is a good remedy, of which we would be thinking to enrich our value proposition as well. So I'm not astonished that it's sitting also within universities.
Yeah, and that's another aspect with the universities. It's taking a bit too long, isn't it? With 3 to 4 year degrees, by the time they come out, the industry's changed within that period of time. So I imagine this is kind of on the job training, and then they can study along the way and get. There's nothing wrong with getting a degree.
It's an alternance program.
That's right, and I suppose it's that journey. Is it to a point? For the audience listening, also, if you're interested in cybersecurity, and you've got that's all. Maybe that's your starting point. If you've got an interest, there is an opportunity here for you. What would be the key message there for you, Jasper, in terms of because I imagine you can get people anywhere now. COVID has changed the workforce and where we can work. So is it a matter of just having that interest?
Yeah, I think it depends on where people are in their life cycle, right? I mean, if you come off school, or into school, you can go through these universities that are now more and more dedicated to cybersecurity. If you maybe have another degree and you are sort of retooling yourself to go cybersecurity, you'll see programs that aim at basically retooling people's backgrounds depending on what they have already. And then to your point, I mean, COVID has certainly demonstrated to us that you don't need to have people in close proximity. You can work from almost anywhere. By the way, that's a big driver of the increase in cybersecurity attacks that we are seeing, right? But the benefit of that is that you can have people sitting in multiple places around the country or in the world, for that sake, doing some of these services. I think I wanted to add one other thing, which is the other thing that this whole skills gap have done is we see it also in which type of solutions that are being bought at the moment. So every solution that has a degree of AI and machine learning built into it to really, in a way, have less dependence on the human factor are having a run at the moment, because there is simply not enough people to put at monitoring SOCs and monitoring companies' IT infrastructure and cybersecurity defense systems. And so therefore we are seeing a shift towards solutions, and there are more and more vendors coming with solutions that are built in AI and machine learning. But at the end of the day, you still need people. You might need less for some of the more redundant things within cybersecurity as well.
I think that's the pain point there, isn't it? The more automation that you're building, the more sort of intelligence that you're building, you need really more focused people that understand that process, rather than the good old days of just doing system admin and understanding how a network might operate. Now with that automation, if there's an error or the configuration is wrong, it can have quite severe ramifications. Maybe just to finish off, Denny, you've outlined how this is going. Do you see this into the Asia Pacific at all? Exclusive networks are here in Australia as well. How do you see it going? Because I suppose, given it's a coalition, there's always, there's a lot of people involved here. who's the key coordinator? Is it NightDragon? And I've just lost their name, but NightDragon is the key that's an investment firm in cybersecurity. And where is he gone? I've just lost it in front of me. Here he goes. Next Gen Cyber Talent. Yeah. Are they the ones driving this? So for people to reach out and get involved?
In fact, you're right. But the NightDragon cybersecurity firm is a global company. Of course, their main investment are sitting in the US, and we are very relay with regards to the EMEA coverage, but we have agreed with NightDragon on that project, whatever will be related to this awareness, education, and talent hub, that it will be global. We are a global company. We want to align at global level. So yes, to your question, we will be coming in APAC and in ANZ particularly.
Wonderful.
And I would just say, Chris, I mean, if there are any one of your listeners or viewers that are interested to learn more, you can always reach out to us, and we can obviously make sure they get on the right path.
Wonderful. Well, look, there's too many companies to be involved in terms of the founding partner or the founding partners network here. Yeah, just too many. I won't even bother going through them all. There's about 20 plus. And as Denny pointed out, there's an estimated 2.7 million unfilled cybersecurity positions, and hence this is an industry coalition in order to close the cybersecurity talent gap. So there in California, do enjoy the RSA conference, gents. I wish I was there this particular year, but we've just been joined by Denny Ferrand Achenbaum, the Executive Board Member and Senior Vice President, and Jess Petrole, the CEO with Exclusive Networks. Thank you very much for joining us on My Security TV.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate it. Have a great day.